My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. This is the only channel dedicated to UFC fight picks and DraftKings lineups run by MMA insiders and professional fighters. Every week, I join Dan Kramer and Nick Newell, two longtime professional fighters that have fought at the highest levels on the planet, as well as Jacob Lyons, a skinny kid from Indiana. So join us every single week for our full fight card breakdowns, our individual fight card breakdowns, our betting guide, and our DraftKings lineups. UFC Vegas 34 weigh-ins are done. We had one weight miss, the last-minute replacement for Trevin Jones, and Kelvin Gastelum missed weight by a fraction of a pound, but then went back on the scale and made weight. So we are good to go. All of these fights are locked in, and we are going to walk through our final lineups for UFC Vegas 34. I will go first. So earlier in the week, I had William Knight. And William Knight should win, but it's a much tougher fight than people think. And he is so expensive that I'm a little nervous about it now. So I took William Knight out. I went against my Connecticut roots, removed him from my lineup, and I actually replaced him with Brahimaj. And not that they're necessarily like for like, but Brahimaj is going to get this fight done. He is going to stop Politnikov, probably submit him. And that extra $900 freed up some other room I have in here as well. So I have Brahimaj in here. Then I have Kelvin Gastelum. I did not have anybody in the main event, but that's because I couldn't really afford Kelvin when I had William Knight. Now I have Kelvin in here. I think Kelvin wins this fight. I think it's a great, the close weight is a concern, but I do think Kelvin wins this fight. He has good hands. He has a ridiculous chin, and he has good wrestling. And as long as he ties that stuff together, he should win this fight. Jared Cannonier, great fighter, tons of power, but that's the only place that he's probably better than Kelvin is more power. Everywhere else, Kelvin has more experience and a better skill set. Hopefully he puts it together. Main event fighter, I anticipate that going 5 rounds, $7,500. He should do well for me. Then I have Brian Kelleher over Pilarte. Kelleher's $9,000, and he will fight for every single dollar of that. That guy is a dog, and he goes out there to win. He should use his back down at 135. He should be more physically imposing, use the wrestling and get that done. I have Pantoja over Royval. Royval legit good, and it'd be an exciting fight, but Pantoja is just that much better. I have Pantoja winning that fight. I spent the $8,900. Then I have my buddy Parker Porter. I've known him for years. I managed him in his career for a very long time. He's a good personal friend. Check out our video interview that we just did with him. Listen, I really think Parker wins this fight. This isn't just I'm friends with him bias. I really think he wins this fight. If you looked at him in the weigh-ins, he's in phenomenal shape, way better than he was for his last 2 fights. I know for a fact he took that Chris Daukaus fight on like 3 days' notice after just having a kid, no training whatsoever. He took the fight and immediately had to cut weight. He was so out of shape and out of camp. He looked pretty good in his last fight, and now he has even longer to prepare. And if you keep this in mind, he's been training for Chase Sherman 2 camps in a row. They were supposed to fight, I don't know, what was it, 4 months ago? He got COVID. He was out, and he went right back into a full training camp for Chase Sherman again. So I like Parker in this fight. Chase Sherman does not move his head. And Parker's got hands. He's got kicks. He's got wrestling. I like Parker in this fight. $7,000 is a great deal. And then I have Saldana over Austin Lingo. This actually should be a closer fight than most imagine, but I have Saldana winning. Saldana is just at a different level, and there are levels to this sport. So I have Luis Saldana, and that is my final lineup. And I'll tell you right now, I like this one much more than my original one. The 2 changes I made were I added in Kelvin and Brahimaj, and I got rid of William Knight and Clay Guida. Both of them could do well. William Knight's going to win. A little concerning. Jacob, why don't you walk through your lineup?
Yeah, so I think it's very, very interesting, Angelo, when you look at your lineup Tuesday, which I said was one of the worst lineups I had ever seen, that the changes you made were to add 2 fighters that were already in my lineup. I think that's very, very interesting with Ramiz and Gastelum. So let me start off. Angelo already mentioned it with Ramiz. I think he's going to be able to use his grappling abilities. All his wins are submission wins. I think he gets the fight to the ground. But if it doesn't, he has a really good jab. We saw that with Max Griffin before his ear exploded off his head. He actually dropped Max Griffin with a jab. So if this, for some reason, if Sasha's stuffing takedowns, I think he can still win this fight on the feet. So I like him in this matchup. Gastelum, you mentioned the weight cut. I think it's a non-issue. It was a 1/4 of a pound. It looked like he was surprised. I think it was probably a weight scale issue where he thought he was good, came in, was a little heavy, cut it no problem, lots of energy. And I did learn also in this camp that he went up and he started training a little bit with Henry Cejudo to prepare for this fight. So not only is there, I think they're going to be a more grappling from Gastelum in this fight because of the Cejudo training, but I think the mentality, we've talked about it before with Kelvin, how sometimes he's like hit or miss. Sometimes it looks like he doesn't even want to be there. Sometimes he looks great. I think being with Henry Cejudo and that championship mentality is really going to have Kelvin really focus. He mentioned, I mean, every fighter says this, but he said it's the best fight camp he's ever had, and I honestly believe him going in this fight. Next, I have Austin Hubbard. I think he's honestly better everywhere. This is a toss-up fight, but I think he's a little bit better in every aspect of MMA fighting. The only thing that kind of worries me that I did mention leading up, which is kind of my out for this fight, is Vince Pichel's mustache. He did show up with that mustache. The mustache was long. It was full. It looked great. We all know mustaches give you that little bit of extra horsepower. That's the only thing that would worry me in this fight. But Austin Hubbard, I love him in this matchup. Then I go Trevin Jones. I was going to pick him against the other guy, which was going to be a really close matchup. I love Trevin Jones. I love his ability. He's not an knockout artist, but he can get the fight done anyway, that anywhere that it goes. And this guy, I'm not going to try and say his last name. He did miss weight. You can't blame him. It was a short notice fight, but I just like Trevin Jones in general. So short notice opponent, I'll take him. You mentioned Brian Kelleher. I think the only thing that worries me about Brian Kelleher in this fight is as I'm reading comments during weigh-ins and stuff, it seems like everyone feels like he's the biggest lock on the card. And it seems like anytime that happens, that person ends up losing. I think he definitely should win. I think he can win anywhere. But that's the only thing that kind of worries me when everyone's just so all in on somebody that it's Brian Kelleher. He's good, but he's a 22-12 fighter. He does lose. So that's the only thing that worries me. But I think he should be able to get the job easy. So I have him for $9,000. And then we have Lingo. Okay, this is the lock of the week. And I need everyone to figure out who's with me and who's against me in the comments below. So if you're with me, just simply put lock of the week. If you're against me, put loss of the week. I don't care. I just need a head count of who's with me because Saturday, Angelo, we're doing the live stream. This is what you guys have been waiting for. The live, it's a feature prelim. We're going to go early before the main card so we can do the live reaction to Austin Lingo absolutely starching Saldana inside of a minute in the first round. You're going to be able to see my reaction. Angelo, hanging his head in shame for making fun of it. And all you guys, all these comments are going to be in the recap Sunday, so you better get it right. Is it lock of the week or is it loss of the week with Lingo? Put it in there. We'll put it in the recap Sunday, live reaction Saturday night. Let's get this is a 6-for-6 lineup.
I'm looking forward. The only time we saw your live reaction was when who was it?
I don't think ever done that.
He almost won in the last round. You filmed it at your own house.
Oh yeah, that was I don't know. There were so many wins. I'm trying to think of all the wins.
They all.
I'm trying to think of all the wins. It's just like they all blend together. Anytime I've ever filmed myself, it's just woo.
All right, let's walk through Danny Boy's lineup. So this is the same lineup from the beginning of the week. He hasn't made any changes. He still feels very confident in this. He's got a couple of big underdogs here. Actually, one huge underdog. But let me walk through it. He's got Kelvin Gastelum. If you watch that breakdown video, he mentioned that as well. He says Kelvin Gastelum is a 5-round fighter. Kelvin Gastelum is also good everywhere. And assuming he's in shape and ready to go, Kelvin Gastelum should get that done. $7,500, a good value for him. He also went with Clay Guida over Mark Madsen. I personally disagree with that. I think Mark Madsen wins the fight. But Clay Guida should put up some points. Dan thinks Clay Guida wins the fight. Check out our betting breakdown. He went ham on him. But he thinks Clay Guida wins that fight because of his cardio and his striking. Mark Madsen, unbelievable Olympic silver medalist wrestler. Gas issues, terrible striking. He thinks Clay Guida will just stay in his bicycle, exhaust Mark Madsen, stay in that fight, stay busy, stay in his face, and will win that fight just by his relentless pace and his much, much, much better striking. And the way Dan put it is he said, this is the only fight where I don't want Clay Guida to do any offensive wrestling. Then he has Brian Kelleher. For all the reasons that I have Brian Kelleher, there's just levels to this. His wrestling is very good, and he's just that much better than Pilarte and should absolutely get that done. He's got Pantoja over Royval, and he's very confident in this fight. I know, Jakey boy, you're a big Royval guy, but Dan is confident in Pantoja. He has bets on that as well. So again, watch the betting breakdown. Then he has Saldana over Lingo for the reasons that I mentioned. And then he went against his fellow Connecticut person, went against our buddy, and he has Chase Sherman over Parker Porter. And then his logic is just that Chase Sherman is big. Chase Sherman has really good hands, and he's just going to stay in that fight and be there the whole time. And that's why Dan went that direction with it. I, again, completely disagree, but I might be biased. That's Dan's lineup. Make sure you join our free DraftKings league. It costs you $0. If you win the league and you're a subscriber, we send you $15. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, however you want it. If you're a member, so there's a join button under this video, click that. If you're a member, we send you 30. Join the free league, compete with everybody. It's a ton of fun. Costs you nothing. You can win some money. We'll see you for the fights.